we go. Episode 322 of Nation of Conversation. Wally, you picked a good one for me anyway.
Yep.
People,
Yep.
I feel like people like this movie, but I was surprised at the critics' rating of 29%. Fresh.
I don't know why you'd be surprised by that.
The critics never liked
They
most
don't-
of the stuff that normal
Don't-
people like.
They don't like kid movies either. And this is
Yeah.
for sure a kid's movie.
Oh yeah.
Made by Disney. Heavyweights.
In 1995.
The reason I like this movie, first of all, written by Judd Apatow, dude who wrote Knocked Up, Fertile Virgin, directed all those movies. He wrote this movie.
I like when he's being funny, when he tries to be cutesy and funny. It doesn't do it as much for me.
Well, this is just
Like
straight
when
up.
he tries to venture into rom-coms.
This is just straight up. I mean, there are some sweet moments in there, but it's straight up goofball.
Yeah.
I mean, the
This is-
premise alone is like you go to fat camp and you take it over.
Yeah.
Awesome. What an awesome idea. Like an aerobics instructor comes in and you have to fight
He's
for the fat camp.
evil.
Yeah. So good.
You have to
Perfect.
fight to not get healthy at that camp.
Yeah. Perfect movie.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We got two mainstay for the Child Actors Guild in
Of course.
that time frame, Kenan Thompson and Goldberg. And I don't know Goldberg's real name, so he's going to be going as Goldberg while I talk about this. And then the same as Kenan, I don't know his
name
character's
is-
name.
Keenan's name is Roy.
He's going to be
I forget
called
what
Keenan.
I forget what Goldberg's name is, but yeah, just go with that.
Yeah.
I will say Sean Weiss is his name, by the way. But after watching this, you would think like he's the star. He's the one that's going to have a real career here.
Goldberg?
And it's sad.
Yeah.
He's doing good now, so I guess we'll go with that.
Yes.
Doing
This
good now.
was after the first Mighty Ducks, but before the second.
I think first Mighty Ducks he was younger, right? And what's the main kid? Jerry?
Jerry, yeah.
Jerry
He's
is in
not-
he's in Mighty Ducks 1.
Is he?
I believe that to be correct.
Jerry's in Mighty Ducks 1.
I
And
didn't
Jerry is
remember
like
at all.
he's a very handsome fellow now. He's still acting and he looks totally different. Like you would not
Aaron
be able to tell.
Schwartz.
Yeah.
Aaron
He's
Schwartz.
a good looking man now.
Oh yeah, look at that.
He's got those pro headshots and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
he
look
was
at
in
that. He's fit. He's got
Yeah.
a ripped body.
Yeah, he's looking good. He was in Mighty Ducks 1, but I feel like the character was like sort of like in the background, not one of the
Yeah.
top people.
Yeah.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Young ego facial reference.
Yeah, he was like a stand-in for it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So they could digitally put Kurt Russell's face over his, right?
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Oh, I see.
Sort of like how they did the thing with what's his name? Captain America, whatever his fucking name is. Chris Evans, how they had like an old dude play that
Oh,
part and then they put his face over the old dude's face. They like it's some crazy ass technology, but yeah, he was in Guardians too. How about that? Awesome.
All right. So the movie starts and we get the clock ticking down to 3:00 and school's out for summer. We get the typical high school, like everybody's throwing the shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And
God,
we-
I used to love that feeling. Especially
did you guys ever do that?
not
actually
throw
throw your
stuff, but I remember that feeling of like I'm done. It's done.
Okay.
I
And,
feel like I threw like papers once and then immediately had to clean them up. I was like, all right, well, this is
Yeah, I don't remember throwing papers, but I remember being very fucking excited that I was
Yeah.
done for the summer, especially in like
Oh.
4th, 5th, 6th,
He
7th,
was
8th
in
grade.
Pete and Pete. Sorry. Jerry was also in Pete and
Jerry?
Pete.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Like a full-time guy or just a one-off?
Hit and miss, like 8 episodes.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the Pete and Pete's is in Mighty Ducks 1, so there's all kinds of right.
I think that's right. Yeah. So we meet Jerry. He's the main character. He's fat and short, And he misses his bus, and so he starts chasing, and then he has to walk home.
That bus sees him and does not stop.
Yeah, it does not give a fuck.
It's not that far away. You could have stopped.
No. he's probably like 5 feet behind the bus while it's driving away.
That poor
Hey,
kid.
it's the last day for the bus driver too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're out for summer vacation.
So so he's walking home. He almost gets hit by a foul ball, but he picks it up and he tries throwing it back, and he's really struggling just getting it over a 5-foot fence.
Yeah,
Maybe 6
very
foot
very
fence.
funny. The baseball scene, all the baseball scenes in this, like these kids, none of these kids know anything about baseball. Can't swing a bat or throw a ball. None of them.
Yep. So he's very, very unathletic. Then he stops at a lemonade stand
Very
and
funny.
he drinks straight from the pitcher.
Like it's
because-
5
he buys
cents
it,
and
though.
he
He
drinks
pays
the
for it.
whole thing.
Yeah, he does.
Thank you very much.
He slaps down like $3 in cash. So he finally gets home and he sees a car in the driveway. We meet Mr. Johnson, who's just some random guy. He's only in this one scene. He shows the family a video about the summer camp called Camp Hope. This is well, they don't come right out and say it. This video really eases into it, but they show
Right.
the blob, which is like just a giant inflatable.
Those things are fun. Have you ever
Bounce
done one of
thing.
It
those?
looks like it would be fun to play
No.
with. I've never done anything
It's
like
very,
that.
very fun. The big air thing where you sit on the end and someone jumps on it and you fly. It's very fun.
What did you play it on?
I feel like Pyramid Lake had one of those, maybe, or one of
Oh,
these Boy
maybe.
Scout camps must have had one.
Boy Haven, perhaps.
Yeah, I can't remember which one, but some Boy Scout camp, I'm pretty sure had it, a version of it.
Yeah, we see the blob and we see go-karts, and Jerry's getting into
He's
it a little
in.
bit.
He's in.
Yeah, he's getting a little more excited about it. And then we see Pat Finley on the videotape, and he's a camp counselor. He's been going there since he was 10.
It should concern parents that the counselor who went to the fat camp is still fat.
He's
They-
still fat, and he's been there for 18 years.
They go
Right.
over this. They have this joke happen multiple times later, though. Like
They do.
at the end, like you've been here 18 years and you still look this way.
So in the video, he's actually the one to drop the bomb. It is a fat camp. And Jerry is not having it anymore. He's very upset.
Yeah.
Decides he's not going. But his parents are like, no, let's talk about it. We'll think about it. And then the next scene, we see a plane taking off.
Okay. This is
They
like the
sent
most
him on the plane by himself.
90s thing of all time. Like send your kid
Free.
alone on a plane because the
Free
world
9/11.
is safe. You can just do this. How old do you think Jerry is? 12, 13? Maybe 12?
No, he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be 11 because I'm pretty sure Ben
11.
Stiller says his age a couple different times.
Okay, so he's 11. I would never
Are you
put
saying-
an 11-year-old on a plane by himself.
That in the next
Ever.
5 years, your sons will not be flying on their own.
No,
11-year-old.
11.
Yeah.
It's weird because he flies out by himself,
Mm-hmm.
but then they have parents stay later, and they drive in like a station wagon as if they live in the town. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah,
So
that was
kinda-
weird.
so anyways, so Jerry takes the plane by himself. The stewardess gives him a pair of wings because apparently that's a normal thing back in the day.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
When you were a
I've
kid, stewardesses would have like those wings and they give them to you. That was real.
So
You haven't been a cute kid in a long time, Wally. Alone on a plane.
actually, I also I don't think I was on a plane. Maybe I was on a plane once when I was like 12.
I want to say 12 roughly was my first plane ride
Yeah.
because my uncle flew me to the Outer Banks to babysit his kids, which essentially was like, hey, you're old enough to like hang out with the other kids while I go get wasted. All right, you're gonna
Excellent.
pay me money to go to the beach? Yeah, I'm in.
Fantastic role right there. That's a veteran move right there. I'm gonna get wasted. I'll bring you in for my
Yeah.
veteran move.
So
Make
he's
sure
on the
they
plane.
don't die and put them to bed. That's all I
Yep.
need you to do.
Easy. You go get chocolate wasted.
So Jerry's on the plane, and Keenan comes up to him, and he asks him if he's going to fat camp because he's fat. And then he asks him if the guy next to him is his dad because he's fat too. And
No,
then he tells
my
Matt
parents have
he's going
set
to
me
fat.
alone on this point.
But yes, Keenan's going to fat camp as well. So they
He's
land.
very
They meet
excited for
other.
it, though.
Yes, they meet other kids at the airport who are waiting for the bus.
Right, because Keenan was there before. And he's like, it's
Yes.
actually not bad. It's actually cool.
Mhm.
We don't actually lose anyway. We don't do anything. We just have a good time.
That's when the bus shows up and Pat's driving the bus, and he gives him like a little pep talk and gets them all excited for the summer to come.
He's great, by the way.
Yes.
Pat in this role, this guy, where he says like, "All right, new guy drives the bus." That's very funny. And then when they're in the bus and they're driving by like McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, and he's like, he pretends to swerve off to, no, we're not doing that shit. That was also very funny. He's good.
Yeah, he was very good. He was.
He's still he's in all kinds of things. This guy who plays Pat. He's in Frasier a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big part of Frasier for a while, but he's still working, I think. I think he's still in random shit.
Good for
Very
him.
funny.
You saying just because he's fat, he can't find work?
No, it's been 95. Like, what other movie do you know him from?
None.
Yeah,
I-
so there you go.
If I went down his IMDb page, I feel like I might recognize.
Right,
no.
he's been in shit for
Yeah,
years. I
yeah,
think he was in
yeah.
Seinfeld at one point too, even though you hate Seinfeld.
It's not a good show. I watched the entire series. It's not a good show.
You finished it now, huh?
I did. I finished it. It's
You
not a
watched
good
the
show.
whole thing?
The
all,
whole
like,
entire series.
All seven?
From
Was it seven?
Nine series or seasons.
Wow.
I think the first season. Only
You're
had, like,
telling
10.
me right now with a straight face that when Kramer puts a garbage disposal in his shower, that wasn't a funny episode to you?
There are moments. There are moments that are funny,
Okay.
but overall, the show is not a good show.
I adore
They are all
Seinfeld.
terrible people. Even the
Oh,
finale.
yeah, they're bad
they get-
people. They get arrested because they're bad.
Yes,
That's the
even
whole point of the show.
I know. Even in the finale, when they get arrested and thrown in jail for being these terrible people, it was still like, oh,
That
That's
episode is
so-
horrible.
I was gonna ask you
Yes.
since it was
Terrible
all
episode.
very
It
fresh
sucks.
in your mind. Well, if you appreciated it or no.
No. It's not
Just the
good.
finale? The finale, I
Oh,
remember being
the fi-
terrible.
the finale was not good.
But there's some
It was like out of left field, basically.
the parking garage, the Chinese restaurant. Some of these things are so good. Some of my
Oh,
favorite
parking garage.
things.
Yeah, that was good.
Love parking garage.
You know, at the end of the parking garage where it like spitfires his car, it won't start.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was not planned. That just actually
Yeah.
happened.
I did know that. Yep. But all right, get back to the
Okay.
movie.
Sorry.
So Pat's picking them up. Jerry's now excited for the summer. They get to camp and we meet Tim, the skinny counselor, who I'm going to call Skinny Tim from now on.
Okay,
He's
Tim.
one success
you know,
story of this camp.
you know who Tim is?
I've seen him in other stuff.
Tim is Paul Feig, the director who directed Bridesmaids,
Oh,
as well as the creator of Freaks and Geeks, which is one of my favorites. Him and Judd created Freaks and Geeks together. I'm assuming they met on this movie and did a bunch of shit together. But yeah, Paul Feig is a director, not ever an actor, I don't think, or hardly ever.
I could have sworn I've seen him in other stuff, but
I think he was in a few things, but mostly he's known as a director, which is kind of crazy. Also, he's wearing I adored this. He's wearing a 1995 opening day Carolina Panthers jersey
oh
and I'm a fan of that team. So he's wearing the 95, and it's a belly shirt. It's cut off.
It certainly is.
So every time I watch
He-
this movie in this opening scene, I get so excited because he's wearing that Carolina Panthers jersey. Everyone is wearing a jersey in this opening scene. Did you notice that? There's like a Merino jersey. There's a bunch of like sports jerseys.
There's
being
a-
worn.
What's his
It's
name? The
because
main
they're all
character's got an
fat.
Islanders jersey on it.
Right. He's got the Islander shirt. But
There he
yeah,
is.
he's
'Cause
wearing that
the-
that belly Carolina Panthers belly shirt. And I'm so excited. And it's the 95 because it's their opening season.
It's because they're all fat, and jerseys are the best thing to wear for fat people. Did you not
There you
know
go.
that?
Maybe I need to get more jerseys in my life.
Anyway, again, getting
Oh,
back
Paul
to
Feig
this
was on The
movie.
Office.
That's
the
what this is
Office?
for as a podcast. We're not even that far into it. Come
I
on.
know.
I think that's his point.
That
Right,
is
this is
my
you were gonna
point.
talk.
I
You're just
mean,
gonna
we've
let him
only done
blow
it for
through
like
this.
15 minutes. Calm down.
You know, that's why he's wasting time because he doesn't have anything ready to go
Mm.
for
Oh,
when,
next week
when
is just
we
going to be a
get to-
general
No, this
discussion.
is a podcast. You're supposed to discuss these things.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not just gonna spend the next hour being like, I love this movie. Love this movie. It's great.
All right. So Skinny Tim, he's getting teased by the kids because he used to be fat and now he's skinny. So he starts making jokes with them just as the new nurse, who's Nurse Julie, walks by, and then he tries to be, kind of cool.
Mhm.
She walks up to Pat and she asks for directions to the infirmary, but all Pat can say is, I can't help you. Because
Yeah,
he's so
because
flustered
he's-
by her attractiveness.
She's so hot that
Yes.
he's been there 18 years. He knows where everything is, but he can't talk.
And Keenan calls him out on it. He's like, Pat, you've been here since you've been coming here since you were 10. You don't know where the infirmary is? Like, sorry, I lost my cool. So Pat and Jerry carry his stuff to Chipmunk Cabin, where we meet Goldberg.
Hmm.
Goldberg calls Jerry Captain because of the wings that he still has on his shirt.
Right.
Pat leaves, and Goldberg gives a signal to all the kids to break out the junk food and start hiding it all around the cabin.
I do like how Pat, he looks at the counselor like, you're not going to allow this, are you? And he's like, all right, Captain. leans into
He goes along with Captain. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great in this movie. Pat is great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would want to hang
Um,
out with Pat.
He also should be in jail, but we'll get there.
Well, yeah. Of course.
He also should be.
At the end, yes, of course. He probably should be in jail.
So the English kid has chocolate melted on his stomach, so they all start eating the chocolate off of him.
This was
Which
so gross.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
probably there was a
disgusting.
time when I thought that was funny, but it just grossed me out.
I'll
as
tell you right
adults.
now, little kids think that and the disgusting scene at
Honey?
the campfire later
Oh yeah.
where they're
yeah.
like just gorging on stuff and like pouring chocolate sauce all over their bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids think that shit is fucking hilarious. I can confirm. Current children think that shit is funny, even though it's
So-
gross.
The next thing that we see is a slow-mo video montage of the kids playing on the blob. And then that night we get a camp get together in the camp hall, probably like I don't know, where they should be eating, but you never see them actually eat meals.
You do when Goldberg gets kicked out and they go through the line
Yeah.
and the
yeah.
one lunch dude is there and he's
Oh
like,
yeah, you get their first healthy meal.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see that, but you don't see a lot of, and you see the nurse teaching them how to cook healthy,
Oh, right.
like
right, yeah.
vegetables later. Like you can eat good food. You don't have to eat junk food all the time. You can eat pasta primavera.
So we meet the owners, who are played by some lady and Jerry Stiller.
Of course.
They break the news to the kids and the counselors because they haven't told anyone, apparently, that they're no longer the owners.
Oh,
and everyone is absolutely devastated by this.
Jerry Stiller. You don't like Jerry Stiller in Seinfeld?
No, he's one of the
He's incredible.
every time he was on, like in an episode, he was fantastic.
He's
the only,
Or
incredible.
selling
only one-
computers in
yeah,
the garage.
he's the only one that I can say that about.
And his mom, the mom, George's mom, is also very funny.
I just love that. Like every time I hear her voice, I think of Mrs. Potato Head from Toy Story.
Mm.
Take the monkeys with you, I'm packing your angry eyes. All right, sorry. So I like Jerry Stiller's advice to them before he leaves.
Yes.
Don't let anyone sign your checks.
He screams it. I love it. This guy was so funny for years, just screaming shit at children. Don't let anybody sign the checks.
So we meet the new owner, who is Tony Perkis, played by Ben Stiller. He comes in and he is a big change from the old owners.
Right. And he's basically the dude from Dodgeball and other things. The same character. This is the first time he does it.
But yes, he recycles his character a bunch.
Yeah.
He's I feel like he's a little crazier in this than he was in Dodgeball.
Isn't he? He does weird stuff in Dodgeball too. Similar things
Like I
where
used to be fat, but I'm not anymore.
he talks to himself in Dodgeball too, doesn't he? Or am I
He
making
like puts nipple clamps on and tries to eat a piece of pizza and like zaps
Okay,
himself.
so
he shocks himself. Yeah, he does some weird shit in Dodgeball. It's similar.
He's way stranger in Dodgeball, but in this he's more like a normal, but like that you could see this actually happening in real life.
He starts out
He's
normal,
strange.
but then he starts talking to himself and being weird later.
What, you've never talked to yourself?
Not like he did in that one scene where he's like freaking everybody out.
Okay.
Having like a full on conversation with yourself?
Yeah. So he gives them a speech and he's intense and strange. He introduces his new staff and everybody's in great shape.
Lars, a favorite of mine.
Yes. I think he tells them that he was 300 pounds at age 13. So
Yes.
That's intense.
That's a lot.
the campers are all shocked and unhappy by this. I like when he runs out and he's got his hands up expecting, high
Yes.
fives.
When he
There's
leaves,
only one kid at the end.
that scene is like iconic for this movie and me. It's like when he runs down and no one gives a high five. I love it.
Until
So
the
good.
very end. The very
One
last
kid just like, I guess I like high fives. I love it.
All right. So then we go back to Chipmunk Cabin, and Pat is no longer the counselor. The new counselor is Lars, and he has Jerry tell him everyone's names. He definitely has a stick up his butt, and he tells them that about his snoring problem. Which
And Jerry is not even he's no longer a counselor, but he's a janitor. Like he has to clean toilets. That's what.
Yeah, Pat is now the janitor.
Or I'm sorry, not Jerry. Pat.
Yeah.
Pat has to clean toilets. He's now the janitor.
Yep. So
He also has grounds crew. He does some stuff outside.
Yeah, he does some raking later, but
Tony wakes up everyone the next morning using the PA system, and he tells them that it's evaluation day. Do you have any value? No, you do not.
Alan Covert is your cameraman
right.
from all
Yep.
the million Adam Sandler movies and Grandma's Boy main character.
Yeah, that's something that I forgot to mention is that Tony is having the entire summer basically filmed so he can make a big infomercial so he can sell his camp idea.
The Perkis system.
Yes.
The diet.
So we get a scene of all the kids trying to do that gliding exercise where you just slide back and forth from left to right.
Yes.
And obviously none of them can do it, but it's a little unfair because they're going at like a downhill slant. So they're sliding downhill and then having to slide back uphill.
Like he's making them look stupid on purpose.
The next scene, he starts weighing everyone in and taking before pictures of them. Yeah.
And the after pictures that they didn't earn when they find them
Yes.
later is very funny. They're like photoshopped on like athletic bodies later. Like, what the fuck is this? That's not me. Their head on a normal kid's body. Very funny.
Then the next day we see the kids are swimming in the lake, and Lars is the lifeguard. He sees Nurse Julie, so he goes over and he tries to flirt with her. She's not
course.
interested at all, though. We do get to see his implementation of the buddy system. Buddy, buddy.
Body
Very
system?
Body system? Oh,
So funny. Um,
I laugh every time when I watch that scene. Goldberg is not in the pool or he's not in the lake. He's just sitting on the dock with sunglasses on, like
he just keeps
just waving his hand.
Buddy,
He's so tired he can't
buddy.
he can't even be bothered. Very funny.
So then we see Skinny Tim is getting the kids ready for a baseball game against the jocks from Camp MVP. Now, Camp MVP is apparently right across the lake, and
Yes.
they also have a relay race with this camp at the end of each summer to see.
Of course,
which
you
camp
got
is
you got to
better.
have some kind of competition at the end, right?
Of course, yes. So Tim tries to voice his concerns about, actually playing this game. He tries talking to Tony about it, but Tony, who starts the scene by riding up on a bike and getting off the bike and then picking the bike up and doing like
Yes.
overhead shoulder presses, and
He
then
can't
running off
even
with
sit
the
for
bike.
5 minutes. Yeah, he has to exercise every second.
But then, instead of riding away on the bike, he runs away holding the bike up.
Ben Stiller's actually in great shape in this movie.
Oh,
If you,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
see him, like, wow, he looks
Oh yeah, he
great.
takes his shirt off later and he's like ripped.
Yeah,
Whereas when he is in dodgeball and he's supposed to be in super good shape, he's not in that good of shape, I'm pretty sure, if I remember
I can't
correctly.
remember.
So Tony doesn't care. He runs away anyways. So then we get the beautiful montage of Camp Hope being very bad at baseball, getting hit by line drives,
They
striking
can't
out.
play baseball at all. Come on.
Yeah, no.
They're
nothing at
all wearing sports jerseys. This ain't real.
The one kid asked to go to the nurse, and Skinny Tim just
Yeah.
says, "Yeah, you can go. Just wait till somebody else comes back."
Everybody's hurt.
You see the line at the nurse's office. Jerry eventually gets hit by a pitch, and the catcher starts making fun of him. So Keenan hits the catcher with the bat to end
Loved
the
it.
scene.
Loved it.
Yep. We see Tony in Chipmunk Cabin, and he's finding all of the hidden junk food. He tells Keenan to give him a hug, and when Keenan goes in to give him a hug, he pats him down and finds a Pez dispenser in his sock. Pez is disgusting, right? Like,
No, Pez is good.
is it?
Yeah.
I haven't had it in a long, long time, but I thought it was
it's like Sour
I mean-
Patch Kids, kind of.
No,
Right?
Sour Patch
Really?
Kids are much better than
Oh.
Pez.
It's a
Yeah.
sour like tablet. It's not bad.
It's like it's sugary. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, it tastes good.
maybe
okay.
it's not worth the effort to put it in the thing and then dispense them one at a time. But the flavor's
okay,
good.
yes. And then, so he pulls the Pez dispenser out of his sock, and then a former camper who is now a counselor shows Tony the big score, which is under the trunk, and he totally rats out his former Chipmunk Cabin mates. Tony then tries to get Jerry to tell him who is responsible for all the junk food in there, but Goldberg steps in And he tells him, the person responsible is Seymour Butts. Obviously, hilarious.
And Lars
Uh,
falls for it. Is it Lars that falls for it? I
no.
forget.
No, it's Tony.
Tony
Yeah.
falls for it. Do you ever do this in school? You ever do a fake name anywhere?
No.
Speaking of Seinfeld, we used to do this all the fucking time with substitute teachers in Catholic
Oh.
High. We would put George Costanza on the
George
bottom of the
Costanza,
list, and they would fall for it all the time. Be like,
Really?
yes,
Oh, man.
all the time.
Yep.
George Costanza's not here. They would call on the little phone and everything, and we would think it's the funniest fucking thing ever.
Now, Bob Sacamano is a character referenced in the show.
Yes.
Does Dan Hep use that for
Yes.
his name on something?
Dan the
Yes,
Dan
he
Hep
does.
uses that as a name for things. Bob
Okay.
Saccaman.
Is that on his fantasy football team, or is that his group me name?
I think it's both, right?
Okay.
I think it
all
is
right.
currently his group me, but yeah,
It's
when it's
definitely
shown up
Group
in-
Me, but yeah, his team name for a long time was what was it the
Oh no, I not the team name, like his name.
his
for-
profile name I think is always
Yes.
Bob Sacamando for
Yeah.
everything.
Whenever I play, what's the Jackbox games? Have you played those games?
not in a long time, but
It's
those
been
are
a
fun.
while.
I always play as Dr. Toboggan from It's Always Sunny. Yeah.
Dr. Toboggan. I always use Gene Parmesan as my name for a thing because that's from Arrested Development. It's a private investigator, Gene Parmesan.
Okay.
Gene! My favorite thing.
Oh yes, because she
Gene!
always screams Gene!
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
he's always in a like disguise, right?
Yes, and who's the
Goes
guy
off
who
the-
doesn't have an arm? That shit fucking cracked me up too. Where the one guy, they use him to like teach the kids a lesson because he'll like have
Oh,
his
yeah.
arm pulled off and be like, and that's why you never jump on the bed. And his arm would be gushing blood and everybody be freaked out and they'd be like, actually, I don't have an arm, and that's why I don't do this.
Oh, that show too also had very good moments, but overall was only
Oh
okay.
man, you're hurting me.
I've
so
tried a couple
much.
times and I couldn't get into it. I'd watch like the first two episodes and be like,
You
meh,
hurt me.
I've seen enough.
You hurt me.
All right, so Seymour Butts. Okay, the next day they wake up and Goldberg's stuff is gone.
He's
and
out of
Tony
there.
makes an announcement over the PA that he's not with them anymore.
Ooh.
And this is where we get the rumors about his whereabouts flying wildly all around.
Right.
I can't remember any of them, but like one of them was like he's living with a homeless man in Chicago now.
Yeah.
He's not dead, but he very well could be.
Yeah. So then we get a voiceover of Jerry writing to his grandmother, writing a letter to his grandmother, telling her about the bad food, the killing of the blob, the end of the go-karts, and how Tony is just kind of crazy.
Right.
We get Tony canceling lunch because of lack of effort. And
Lack
then
of effort.
he has a block of ice broken on his chest while he's laying on a bed of nails. We see Camp MVP making fun of them daily and vandalizing the camp.
That guy
And-
was in Seinfeld too, the head of Camp MVP. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh, maybe he did look a little familiar. But the kids chasing the cow around because they need meat.
Yes, they want to eat the cow.
I'm pretty sure they're running after him with like tennis rackets and
Yeah.
a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Any
Yes.
weapons they could find.
So funny. They're not eating. He's not letting them
Yeah.
eat lunch for lack of
Um,
effort.
So then Tony sets up a dance with the girls' camp to embarrass the kids into losing weight.
Right. Right. But
Which,
instead,
I mean, in theory, this works very well.
Yeah.
sure.
Yep. Well, not really. They're very awkward, but they don't ever cared to lose the weight about because of it.
Yes, that's true.
So the girls are all standing on one side and the fat kids
Mhm.
are all standing on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Pat and Nurse Julie talk about how terrible the camp is now. One of the girls starts walking across the hall towards the boys, and they're all stunned. But then she just asks where the bathroom is, and that's just
Right.
devastating. They're all like, "Oh man."
That hurts.
Nurse Julie asks Pat to dance, but of
Mm.
course he gets flustered again and says no. So we don't get any reason for why she likes Pat, other than he is a very good guy.
I think
He's funny.
But she was.
I think she here doesn't like Pat. She wants him to dance with her so that everyone else will feel comfortable to dance. I think it's
Yeah.
later that when he like finally stands up for himself that she's like, "Oh yeah, I do kind of like this guy. Like he is a good
Okay.
guy." I don't think right
'Cause-
here she thinks that.
All
Maybe.
right. In the first time we meet her, she could have just asked Skinny Tim where the infirmary was, but she goes up and asks Pat, and I thought,
I
oh,
think she
maybe
asked
it's-
Pat because he was like really weird. Like, what are you
okay, that's
doing?
fair.
I think
That's
that's why.
So back to the dance. Skinny Tim starts dancing like an idiot
Yep.
to the song "Love Machine" in front of everyone.
Which is great.
Yeah, he isn't even like it. He's just like, yeah, this will work. This is good enough.
Yep. Pat asks what's he doing, and he's trying to get things started. So Pat eventually joins in with him, and
Why
then
not?
we get Nurse Julie joining in too. And then the boys start joining.
And then like the girls are into it and like don't want to leave.
They're like,
love that.
all right, we might as well start dancing. What's the harm in that? And then everybody's having a good time. Yeah, woohoo. And then Tony turns the lights on and kills the party. Oh, I do like that Lars is the DJ for this.
Yeah, he's getting
What?
down too.
Lars is
Yeah.
funny in this movie. And I always think he's in other stuff, and he probably is, but I don't remember what. But he's funny. in this movie.
Like for some reason I keep thinking he's in Beer Fest, but there's no way he's in Beer Fest.
I don't think so. I'll look it up while you keep going. I'll give you
All right.
something to do.
So the girls all leave. We then go to Jerry sitting on a go-kart, and he has a heart-to-heart with Pat about how awesome Camp Hope used to be, and he really wanted to ride the go-karts because he's so slow and he would have just liked to go fast for once. So Pat starts pushing the go-kart around the track while Jerry steers, and it's a nice little moment. And we see Nurse Julie noticing this and smiling. This is where she definitely starts liking Pat. Now it's nighttime and they're back in the cabin and everybody's sleeping, but Goldberg comes in and he's kind of in like a catatonic state. Everybody wakes up and Goldberg is freaking them out because he's acting like he had a lobotomy
Right.
until he finally breaks the act, starts acting normally, and they're all happy about it because he came back because his dad would have sued Tony up the ass or something like that. I don't know. So the next morning, they fill him in that Tony took all the junk food in the camp. So while Tony goes on a run, the kids break into his cabin to look for all the candy and the junk food. This is when Jerry finds the poster with the skinny version of him.
Yes, and the letters that they intercepted or whatever.
Yep. Keenan and Goldberg have been trying to break into this chest, and then Jerry just breaks the lock off. And it's filled with all these letters that the kids had sent home, which Tony never mailed. Sims, who is the fattest camper, and I didn't mention it at the weigh-in, but when he's announced as the fattest camper,
Oh yes.
he starts applauding, and he's like, "Hey!" and he does the little.
He's excited about it.
So anyway, Sims notices that Tony's coming back, and he starts warning them. Which I'm pretty sure he only has like 4 lines in this movie, and they're all right now.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
in the whole time, but he does not talk.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't talk in this movie.
Yeah. Luckily, Tony does some stretching on the porch while Keenan and Goldberg are able to get out through the window. But Jerry has to go back inside to find the English kid. They're able to sneak out the window, but as the English kid's sneaking out, he farts right in Jerry's face.
Of course.
Fat
They
kids
get
fart.
outside. Yep, they get outside and hide behind. Well,
Normal people
English-
don't fart, just fat people.
and if he's eating an English diet, I mean, that's probably gonna do some
Ugh.
bad things. to you.
Real quick, Lars was in a bunch of shit that's not
Yeah.
good and basically hasn't done much.
Oh.
But guess
Not
what,
good,
Bill?
as in, like, bad movies.
He's in the worst movie of all time, Bill.
I'm looking at that.
You know what it is?
The
It is.
Going Overboard. Adam Sandler's first ever movie.
2 roles.
He's 2 people in the worst ever movie.
He's also in Walker, Texas Ranger, and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman,
Oh yeah, not only
and
that,
Star Trek. He's a Star Trek guy, right?
he's in Mad About You.
Yep.
Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Did you put that? Did you mention that? Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Touched by an Angel. He's in the upper echelon of like trash 90s movies or shows. Stigmata. That's a movie you like.
I've
isn't it?
seen it. I'm sure that I probably
Stigmata?
did.
I must be mixing him up with another actor because, yeah, he hasn't done much. I mean, he's done a lot of work, but nothing really like earth shattering.
So,
Emperor Nor, Impak Nor in Deep Space Nine.
And Pak Nor was the other Cardassian space station in Deep Space Nine.
Oh.
So he's probably a Cardassian.
So, anyways, the kids get outside, hide behind some trees as Tony looks out the window, and
They
then they
are-
run away.
They're able to be skinny enough to hide behind the trees.
Well, I mean, trees are pretty big, so. Then they hear the rustling of a wrapper, and they catch the nerdy ginger kid eating a cheeseburger on the toilet.
Right.
We get a montage of one of the counselors dropping off junk food in a tree stump, and the kids going there to get the snacks. And then we get to Tony's midway weigh-in point, which he's having videoed, of course.
Yeah,
Right.
everything's
So-
on video.
The first 2 kids, I believe it's the English kid maybe, and Jerry, have both gained weight. So Tony tells the camera guy to turn the camera off, and he yells at the kids about cheating and ruining his infomercial. He has the camera turned back on, and Goldberg's the next one to come up on the scale. Goldberg, get up on the scale. He steps up. Goldberg, all right, step off the scale. Step off the scale. Immediately tells him to get back off. And he has the camera get turned off again. Then he has this weird conversation with himself about it being the kid's fault that they're failing and not his fault. It's not his fault. That's all their fault because they're cheating, obviously. So to punish them for their failure, he plans a 20-mile hike for the next day. 20-mile hike. That seems like it would take a quite a long time for sure.
An entire day.
Without stopping, that's almost 7 hours of hiking. If you go at a good, solid, not fast, but a solid pace and you don't stop at all, you're looking at 6.5, 7 hours.
Yeah, that's what you like almost 3 miles an hour.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
going.
If you just like a normal walking pace, if you keep up like a decent pace, is like 3 miles an hour.
Okay.
If you're an adult
That's
and you don't stop.
It's
oh
a
yeah,
lot.
because that would be 20 minutes per mile.
Yeah.
That's Um,
you would not be able to do it, then like have meditation, then return to camp.
yeah,
'Cause you're 20 miles away,
unless he does a 10-mile
I
and turn
guess.
it around to come back.
Yeah.
That's technically a 20-mile hike. Anyways, so at this point, Pat tries to stand up to Tony and change his mind, and Tony just embarrasses him in front of everybody. Pat and Jerry then have another heart-to-heart, this time sitting out on the dock, looking across at Camp MVP. Pat tells Jerry that he's tired of being the fat guy, but Jerry tells him don't be like one of those Camp MVP guys because they're jerks. But Pat is still down about being fat and not really helping the kids ever lose weight. Somehow Jerry inspires him anyways and into standing up to Tony again. And Pat tells him that he has to get the kids. Oh, that Jerry has to get all the kids through the hike, while they're the next day that they're going on. And while they're on that, he'll try to come up with a plan to get rid of Tony. So
It's a nice moment where they're like,
it is.
they bond
Yeah.
there on the dock.
So the next day comes and Tony has a giant pack on his back and he's leading them on their hike. We get 3 kids get dominoed down, rolling down the hill, and then
Which- Tried and true comedy forever is fat guy falls down.
Of course.
and rolls down a hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Jerry helps make sure the English kid doesn't fall down a hole. And then he tries to help another camper get back up on his feet, but Tony tells him to leave him behind because he's
Leave him
weak.
for dead.
Yeah, seriously, Jesus Christ. Pat, Nurse, Julie, and Skinny Tim talk about how they can get rid of Tony. Nurse Julie suggests that she had called child welfare, but they won't be able to get out there for 2 weeks. And Skinny Tim says that the lawyer said that they need hard evidence and they don't really have any. Just then the camera guy walks by and he interrupts
Alan
them and
Covert.
tells them that Tony owes him $600 for this. And he's gonna kill him. So they see a like an opportunity here to get that.
You're gonna be able to blackmail him for the other footage.
Yeah. Oh, God, fucking damn Corsi. So Tony is doing Tai Chi with the kids on the mountain, and they're trying to come up with a plan. He tells them that he's extending the hike indefinitely so they can beat Camp MVP in the relay race at the end of the summer. And they say they don't care about winning that, and he then like does some crazy gymnastics to get up onto a branch that's
Hanging
Hanging
over a
out.
cliff.
over the cliff face. Yes. Like, crazy motherfucker. They decide to take a break for an hour. So Tony allows them to take a break for an hour so he can do some meditation. After a little while, though, he can't continue his meditating because all the kids are arguing about something. So he gets down and he asks them what's going on. And they convince him that they want to change and they ask him to show them how to do a sit-up. So,
The
but
impossible
he
sit-up.
has to do it. Yes, but he has to do it blindfolded
Mhm.
because for reasons. So while he's blindfolded, Goldberg stands in front of him, pulls down his pants to show his ass, and Tony does his sit-up and is face first with an ass. So
Puts his
He-
face in an ass.
he double chops the back of
Yes.
his knees.
He like judo chops him. That's so funny.
The back of his knees. So he
Which
falls
is fair.
down trying
Yes.
to pull up his pants.
Yes. It's very funny.
And then Tony chases him, and Goldberg pulls up lame like he pulled a hamstring.
Oh, right, left hammer
And-
quad.
Yep.
I've seen it.
And Tony eventually just walks into a hole that they had dug.
Right. They set a trap
So-
for him.
Yes,
Well,
Jerry.
earlier they do show someone almost falls in it and they like avoid it.
Oh,
Somehow
okay, so
they've
that's-
covered
it's
it,
the same,
but
it's the same hole.
Yeah.
All right.
I think.
They spend that hour setting a trap for him to capture him.
So Jerry goes back to camp and tells Pat, Skinny Tim, and Nurse Julie that they came up with a plan to get rid of Tony and that they should follow him. He takes them to where they have Tony.
I love that scene though, where he comes up and they're like, "We've got it figured out. We're gonna use the camera." And he's like, "It's all set." Like, what? What do you mean? All set. We took care of it already.
So they've got Tony in a cabin, not a, like
a barn,
kind of like a barn with a metal cage in it,
and it's electrified too, isn't it?
electrified,
Sure is.
using like jumper cables and a
Like
bug
a bug
zapper.
thing. Yes. Oh, it's so funny.
And they also have him tied up. So the kids and the adults argue about keeping Tony, tied up because you can't do that.
Because it's illegal.
Kidnapping. It's illegal.
Tim and Pat are like, "Yeah, we can't do this," but the nurse is like,
She's
"Hell
on
yeah,
board.
I love it." She's on board.
So Pat goes to help Tony out, and then Tony's like a complete dick to the man who's
Trying to help him get out. Yeah.
So obviously Pat just puts the duct tape right back over his mouth. And he's like, this will work. This works fine.
We'll figure it out.
They then somehow tie all the other counselors to trees, and they rip Lars's shirt and put honey on his chest, saying that bears love honey.
And he's like, "You're a bad person." This is where Lars does his best work. You're so bad.
So the English kid punches Lars in the dick too. I love that. Jerry, Keenan, and
Forgot about that. He does.
Yeah, Jerry, Keenan, and Pat then hear screaming, so they run back, but it's just a deer licking Lars's chest, and he's freaking out about it.
Fantastic.
The kids then go around taking down all the new signs of Tony's camp and replacing them with the original Camp Hope signs. They torture Tony with his meditation tape that he would wake them all up with by saying he's a loser and he has a skinny wiener.
Skinny wiener. Love it.
Then we see that Tony's cage is electrified. He gets electrocuted by touching it.
He shocks himself.
So the camp then has a huge party with all this junk food.
Right. And this is like
everybody's super
so well
happy.
done with the classical music, the
Yes,
slow motion and the
yes.
classical music. So awesome. So funny.
Mhm.
Also gross.
Skinny Tim is covering himself.
Yeah, he's in there too.
Pat and Nurse Julie, however, are sitting on a porch just alone with just the two of them. So
Mm,
she's really trying to get it in, but Pat's an idiot. So the next morning, everyone's in a food coma,
of course.
and Pat wakes them up, and he gives a speech about self-respect and how they definitely can't act like that anymore.
You got it out of your system now, you fucking nuts. Let's actually try to do the right thing.
Yeah. So he convinces the kids to actually try to lose the weight, and they have a montage of them exercising and doing the proper dieting.
Which includes power walking, which was very funny.
Yeah.
They all power walk.
Then parents arrive for Parents Weekend or Parents Day.
Parents' Day, yeah.
which yes, I agree. Ryan mentioned it earlier. It doesn't really make too much sense because they
It's a
all
little
drive
weird.
up when all their
Yep.
kids were left at an airport.
And
So
you could rent a car, but would you ever rent a station wagon if you weren't? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong
um,
about that.
so the English kid gives Tony a meal through his cage because they actually do have to keep Tony alive. While Pat shows a tape to all the parents about how Tony is evil. And it
Right.
just goes through all like the name calling, no dinner for you, no lunch for you, no breakfast for you, that kind of stuff. Um, then we see English kid napping, and Tony uses his fork to short out the electrified fence, and he makes a fake Hershey kiss out of some tinfoil. Obviously, English kid wakes up and he falls for this quite easily, and Tony's able to grab him and escape. We go back to the video of Tony being crazy, and it ends, and all of a sudden we hear him clapping while he's sitting
He gets up there
20.
quick.
This is
Yeah.
so bizarre. He's so high in the air. What? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's like they were like, "Oh, what's a cool shot we can do?" But
Yeah.
and he's got to do a fucking 450
What?
splash to the floor or whatever to make his entrance.
Shit, where was I?
He's up in the.
Yes, he front flips to the ground and starts walking across glass to
He
intimidate
smashes glass
everyone.
and then walks on it.
Yep, because he's still barefoot. Somehow they took his shoes at some point. What the fuck are you doing?
Took his shoes and his shoelaces so he wouldn't kill himself in a fake barn prison.
Maybe. So he walks up to Jerry's dad and they have a bit of an argument, and Jerry's dad says he's done here and then punches him in the gut.
Right. Jerry's dad being Jeffrey Tambor, too, a famous actor.
Yes. Tony then attacks him from behind, and then back handsprings away, as you do. And now there's no glass on the floor anymore though, because he's back handspringing and his hands are okay. But
it's a pretty anticlimactic way to end his thing, because he gets punched in the gut, gets a punch in on Jeffrey Tambor, does a million backflips, but too many, so he slams his head against the wall and then he knocks himself out.
Yeah, he over rotates the last one and knocks himself. Like that's kind of pathetic. Right. So Tony's dad then comes out to take him away, and
which is
he tells it
awesome. That's Ben Stiller as an old man taking away young Ben Stiller. Very funny.
When they had Ben Stiller's actual father in the movie as someone else.
So many jokes here.
Papa, as he likes to be called, tells everybody that the camp will now be closed because everybody will get their money back.
Right.
But the kids want to stay, and he's okay with that as long as somebody, steps up and leads the camp as camp director. So all the kids want.
Of course, they want Pat to be in charge.
Pat. Yep. So they get the chant started. Pat. Because he's been there for 18 years, and when he says that, Papa looks at him like, well, what the fuck have you been doing for 18 years?
Yeah.
Right. Why are you still so overweight?
The fuck do you have?
I do though like how he wraps up, like no one sue me. This is fine now. Like
just
I'll give you money, and this is everything is fine.
You can have a refund. Yeah. Come on.
So yeah, Pat steps up and he's the camp director now. We get the return of the Blob, and we get a montage of the kids improving the camp and getting ready for the relay against Camp MVP. Now, this is a 3-part relay race. The first part is an obstacle course followed by the Hall of Intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally a go-kart race, which they call a Grand Prix.
Right.
So Camp MVP gets off to a very huge lead during the obstacle course, which is a sack race. You got to take some soccer shots while a member of the other camp is a goalie.
It ought to be an insurmountable lead.
It should.
Except for one
The-
problem. Camp
Yeah.
MVP are a bunch of dumbos.
The wall climb as well. There's a zip line and a football toss. There's also a balloon shaving contest, which the Camp MVP kid is having a very tough time with. So they're losing some time there.
Right. Goldberg is an excellent barber.
Yep. Because he's been
Shaves
shaving
a
for
f-
years.
He shaves that balloon very well.
But they're still behind. But Pat shows Jerry the new go-kart, which has a souped up engine.
Which we see earlier, they stole from Camp MVP's boat. They
Yes.
stole the entire engine
Oh,
of Camp MVP's
right.
boat, and they were like working on it in the garage.
I didn't put the two of those together. Okay. Yep, that's
So they
right.
they
That's
souped
right.
up this thing.
So yes, the Camp MVP is now into the Hall of Intelligence, while Goldberg is just getting to the balloon shaving contest, but he's doing pretty good. The Hall of Intelligence, though, slows Camp MVP down again.
Bunch of dummies.
While the English kid just runs through it very easily, because obviously he's smart because he's English.
The Camp MVP kid, it's named for vice presidents, and he keeps saying George Washington.
So let's see, what is it? It's the first thing is a math equation. The second thing is name a bunch of different pieces of art.
Yeah.
And
then vice
name,
presidents.
Yeah, name 5 vice presidents. Which
And then he's like, "Oh, you Americans, you don't even know your own history."
This is when English kid catches up to Camp MVP and passes him. Pat then gives Jerry some tips about driving the go-kart, while Keenan puts the wings on Jerry's shirt, and we see both of the kids skipping up with the baton.
Yeah, you have to skip it down. Yeah.
Yeah. But then they get the baton and don't start racing immediately. They wait for a green flag to be waved to start the race. So
very bizarre. Trying to make this a close race here. Yeah. Trying to WWE yourself.
So they take off racing, and Jerry's in the lead for a little while until he's forced off the course because this guy drives dirty.
Of course.
He gets back on right behind MVP. They battle for first for a while until a sharp turn leaves Jerry behind. MVP is swerving back and forth to make sure that Jerry can't pass him. When it's getting close to the end of the race, Jerry hits the boat engine fan, I guess, to give him a little extra boost.
Yeah, more power.
And he hits the jump, the very last jump, and it sends him soaring through the air over and in front of the Camp MVP go-kart.
What a move.
He lands and wins the relay race, and Camp Hope wins for the very first time.
I think they said 33 years or something like that.
I just assumed it was ever.
I was assuming ever as well, but
I think that means the lifetime of the camp, but
so MVP are sore losers, so Pat tells Sims to airmail the cup back to their camp, so he grabs it and throws it into the lake.
I did like this part where they're like, "You cheated." They most certainly did cheat. They stole parts of a boat motor to make their thing more effective.
I doubt there's any rules against souping up your go-kart.
Maybe not, but then I like how he's just like, "You care about this trophy? I'm gonna throw it in the water. Fuck you." Also, feel bad because those kids probably never won a trophy ever, and now he told them to throw it in the water. But whatever.
Yeah.
And it ends with Pat kissing Nurse Julie and Camp Hope celebrating.
course.
Now, there was a post-credit scene. Did you guys stick
Right.
around for that?
I had forgotten. Because this and dodgeball are almost the same. I was like, what was the post credit scene? Was he fat? Bill's like, no, he wasn't fat. That's dodgeball.
So
Yeah.
Tony is now a door-to-door crystal salesman.
Right. Awesome.
So that is Heavyweights 1995.
Fantastic. I love it still. Still good.
Oh yeah, very good, very good.
I still haven't
You
trying
still
to-
haven't come up with something?
still haven't come up with anything good. I'm gonna read one potential to you, and I don't know if it's any good. It's hold on.
Oh, I will say this just about the movie as a whole. My only thing that I didn't like was how quickly Jerry became like king of this camp. He became
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
most
They love
popular leader of the boys
They love him.
so fast.
So I'm not sure if I'm gonna do
Well,
this.
he's
or not.
captain. He's got the wings.
He's a
Obviously.
captain. He's a captain for many reasons. I saw this on my favorite app, Tubi.
Of
I hate it.
course.
Potential. It's an Andy Kaufman movie. Not really a full movie. It's only 57 minutes.
Okay.
Called My Breakfast with Blassie. Andy Kaufman plays himself in a parody of My Breakfast with Andre, or I'm sorry, My Dinner with
My Dinner.
Andre.
Yeah.
But instead, he's at an early morning breakfast with former wrestling champion Classy Freddie Blassie. I'm guessing this is fucking terrible, but
It sounds like he tries real hard and it's not going to be that
Andy
funny.
Kaufman and Classy Freddie Blassie or there was one other thing actually. This is actually interesting, but it's a lot longer. It's the new interviews for Glow. It's on Tubi. Apparently they did a bunch of new interviews on the show Glow and put them all in one movie. From 2018. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Glow stars from seasons 1 through 4 take fans behind the scenes of the milestone series that inspired a generation of female wrestlers.
Cool.
A new Glow documentary. So you want to go with the Glow documentary? The original Glow new interviews from 2018. Talk more about Glow, or you want to talk about Classy Freddie Blassie?
It is your choice.
Ah,
It's your week. I want to do what you want to do here.
I really don't want to do either one.
So don't pick either one.
I don't have a good alternative.
Just
We
pull
got
Mike
Ben
and say like,
Stiller
yeah,
movies
we'll
to
figure it
choose
out.
from.
I don't want to pick another movie, Ben Stiller movie. Give me. Let's do the Glow new interviews. I feel like maybe there's something in there. Why not? Glow
What do
new
I find this
interviews.
again?
Tubi.
Oh, of course, Tubi.
It's a 2018 release. It's called literally Glow the new interviews or whatever.
Or whatever. Is that literally part of the title?
Yes, that's literally part of it. So let's do Glow. It's been a long time since we talked about Glow, I guess. All right, that's it. That is the end of Heavyweights. A very good pick. So I guess we should suspect a terrible movie coming from you next, Wally.
Yeah, I'll try to find something bad.
Oh, God. All right. Peace out.
See you.